Hello there guys, LaserBeast here today to bring you a Phase 2 pre-patch guide for Dragonflight. So we've had Phase 1 of the pre-patch for some time now, so hopefully you've gotten to grips with the new talent changes and the class changes and sorted your UI out if you wanted to change it. I did do a UI video a few days ago, but I just couldn't get used to those changes that I made, so I have gone back to using ElvUI. And for anybody that wants it, I do have an updated string that I can share for you so you can import my profile that you can see on the screen here. So Phase 2 of the Dragonflight pre-patch is coming on the 15th of November for North America and the 16th for everybody else, so this is where we get into the real meat of the pre-patch with the two big new additions. Well, there's a few things, so what do we get? So first of all, we've got the Primal Invasions now. The expansions these days usually do have some sort of invasion for the pre-patch, and this one is the Primal Storm, sort of like elemental invasions. So you can check on your map which zones these are currently active in. It'll either be the Northern Barrens, the Badlands, Ungoro Crater, or Tirisful. So have a little check on your map and see which ones are up. These do rotate, so for example the Fire Invasion won't always be in the same place. As of PTR, they were sometimes all up at once, but you may find that when it goes live, there might only be one or two invasions up at one time, so you might have to just keep on checking to make sure you can get all these invasion types ticked off. And why would you want to do that? Well, there is a feat of strength for doing this called Against the Elements, for defeating the different types of invasions in the different zones. As well as other rewards you can get for this, there's the catch-up gear. The item level is 252, so it's not amazing as it's been higher than this in comparison to other pre-patch events. The same as normal raid gear basically, but it's enough to get you ready for questing in the Dragon Isles, and there's better ways to gear up really if you wanted to get a real head start on some decent eye level going into the expansion, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. As well as catch-up gear, you can get a new heirloom trinket. Now, you'll need to collect these 4 items that have a chance to drop from each of the different types of elemental invasion bosses. Although it isn't a guaranteed drop from each boss, these items are account bound too, so you can trade them around if you need to, if you've been doing this on alts, in order to get the 4 items on one character to then create the trinket. Now, there are reports that the items that you need to create the trinket that can drop from other mobs in the invasions too, but the drop chance is likely a lot lower than it is off the bosses. Now, the trinket is actually a decent leveling trinket to be fair, so it is worth getting this if you enjoy leveling up or if you know you're going to be leveling into new characters anytime soon. You won't be able to get this once the invasion ends, so it's worth just going and getting this while it's active. So when you log in after this Phase 2 of the pre-patch goes live, you'll get a quest to go and speak to some guys. Just follow the quest along. You'll get a quick quest line that introduces you to the elemental invasions, and it will want you to go and collect 10 items from one of the zones. So head over to any of the invasions to complete this quest. Now when you go into a zone with an invasion active, there's usually 4 Primal Storms locations active at once, but only one will be the main one where the boss will eventually spawn. Now the spawn times of the actual bosses themselves are said to be around every 30 minutes, and the invasions themselves last around 2 hours. The boss will spawn at the main portal in the invasion zone and be protected by a shield, so what you need to do is just defeat enemies in the invasion zone to remove the shield, and then the boss becomes active while all the other mobs become inactive. You can see a difference on your map when the boss has spawned, but the site usually has more portals and things going on compared to the others, so just find the busiest site with all the things going on, and that will be eventually where the boss will spawn, so you can just hang around and kill mobs there. So for the quest, you can still collect the motes of primal energy from the mobs around any of the areas, even when the boss isn't currently active and even after it's been defeated. And you can also farm the currency, primeval essence, off the normal mobs if you wish to do so. And it's this currency that you'll use to buy the catch-up gear. So of course, the second major thing coming with the Phase 2 of the pre-patch is the Dracthyr Evokers. So you'll finally be able to spend 6 hours in the character creation screen making one of these for yourself, and then go and enjoy the new starting zone experience on the Forbidden Reach. And then you can start to get used to the new class and its 2 specs, Preservation and Devastation, and wreak some destructation upon the nation. Yeah, destructation is not even a word, I ain't going to carry on rapping. So you can start to get the hang of its new specs and all the talents for that, and try and figure out if it's a class that you're going to want to main going into Dragonflight for real. So a couple of things to note with the Dracthyr. Now initially, I found that they do feel very squishy. You'll probably be fine in the starting zone as you're going to have loads of other people doing the quest at the same time, so it might not be something that you notice straight away until you get into any kind of solo content. But when you do get into some solo content, you might find that pulling 2 or more mobs is a struggle. The gear from quests early on felt really low item level compared to what it kind of needed to be, so as soon as you get out of the starting zone, you might want to begin gearing up to get yourself at a decent eye level to enter the expansion on launch day, to give yourself a bit of an advantage when you're questing. You will be absolutely fine in any group content because of course you're going to have a tank and a healer, unless you're the healer, supporting you, and their damage is quite strong from the Evokers, so it feels decent to play as well. So it will probably take some time to get used to the empowered spells, for example, but just enjoy yourself and get used to the new class. And then the final pretty big thing coming in the pre-patch is the brand new revamped dungeon of Ulduman Legacy of Tyr. So this should be available on normal, heroic and base level mythic. You won't be able to do this mythic plus just yet, but I think that in time, maybe in season 2 of Dragonflight, this probably will become a mythic plus dungeon. But there's going to be a quest to go in and do this dungeon as the pre-patch launches, when about the same time that you get introduced to the Primal Invasion quests. So we can look forward to heading into this dungeon, giving it a bit of learning, because like I say, it's going to be more relevant later on in Dragonflight. But for now we can just get some gear and just enjoy the intro to the expansion, as I think this dungeon does contain a little bit of juicy lore to kick things off. And finally happening around the time of this phase 2 of the pre-patch is some nice juicy Twitch drops. Who doesn't like free stuff, even if you do have to spend 4 hours of your time with someone minimising the background on Twitch, but hey. So if you do fancy some free bonus rewards, and I pretty highly suggest that you do this, as the amount that you can get from this was worth around 3,500. If you bought this like last week, then that was a big whoops. But yeah, to get these rewards, all you need to do is make sure that your Battle.net account is linked up to your Twitch account, and then watch any of the eligible streamers for 4 hours. The other information's on the screen in the background of this video here. So that is pretty much the bulk of everything coming in phase 2 of the pre-patch. Now, as I did with the first one, I'll link the actual pre-patch release notes down in the description if you want to have a dig through them, you big nerd. And with that said, that pretty much wraps up this video. So guys, if you've enjoyed this, please do leave a like on the video to help the channel out, and consider subscribing if you want any more Warcraft videos from me. I do want to say a big thanks to everyone that has recently subscribed and that's been stuck with me for the longest time. We've just got past 19,000 subscribers, we're nearly at 20. Really exciting times, so thanks guys for that. I've been LaserBeast and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.